Welcome everyone to Fire Mountain Gems. I'm Chris, and this is Patti, one of our jewelry designers. And today, we're gonna make some really fun custom angel earrings. And we're really excited. We got about 3 things we're gonna mark off here. And making 3 earrings is only one of the things we're gonna do. The next thing we're gonna also cover is our awesome online angel builder that can help you kind of play around with what it's going to look like and what kind of things you want to order and kind of doing a compare between ingredients. We're super excited to show you that. And third is Patti has some really awesome tips about simple loops. You've seen Laura Lynn. I'm sure a few of you have watched some of our videos, and Laura Lynn was using and mentioning Patti's Simple Loop. And I've been using Patti's Simple Loop, and I'm telling you, it solves like 3 of the biggest problems that I have, and I think you guys have with simple loops, even though they're called simple loops. So, but we're really great to be. It feels great to get us together again. I'll let Patti kind of introduce herself and talk about some of the sanitary stuff that we've done just to, protect us against some of the stuff that's going on, and we can get on camera together again. So we're super excited to have you here.
Yeah, it's really fun to get to be here. Thanks, Chris, for having me on your live. This is lovely. With COVID and social distancing, our company is really putting a lot of effort into keeping us safe. And we've been really fortunate. Because of that, because of the measures that we take, right? And so some of the things that we put together in order to do a live together like this, the photography studio in here, they are awesome. They're on it. And they made this great partition between us. So
can you hear me?
We're totally safe. I can totally hear you, Chris. They gave us both hand sanitizers. We both sanitized before we started, and we're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Looking forward to the whole experience here.
Yeah, so we're going to say hi to Debbie from Oregon. We already have a lot of people checking in. Carol from Indiana, Pam from Wisconsin, Lavina from Florida. Hope I said that right. Veronica from Colorado, Candy from Minnesota, Elizabeth from San Antonio. All of you, thank you so much for checking in. I want to remind you to like and share this with any of your friends that are kind of the crafty types. We're really excited about what we're doing here on Facebook Live. We're doing these once a week. We're covering a wide variety of topics. I've done some photography stuff because I'm a photographer. Patti's done some awesome tutorials with jewelry making along with our other artists, and we're just really excited about that. And we're also excited to hear some of your ideas and what you guys would like to see us do. So feel free to light up that comment section and like and share, and we'll just get started, huh? So we're gonna kind of poke around at our first angel earring. And I think Patti might just kind of get us started with as simple as it is. We've got, a head pin. We've got that's right. What we liked about this one is a great way to get started is to maybe order a mix. And so this was kind of like you could get a nice little glass bead mix. And our mixes are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure for the most part, I don't think all of them, but I know for this one in particular, they give you 2 of everything. So for earrings and stuff like that, it's fantastic. So me and Patti thought it was great just to kind of spread out some glass beads and maybe start pairing them off. And that's what kind of inspired this earring. You'll see how each of them are kind of different as how they kind of work off of them and how we got them going.
Yeah, and if you want to make these earrings that we're making, the materials lists are going to be included in the description below, so you can get to those really easy. So you can go buy this bead mix if you want. The bead mixes are awesome. It gives you more than 2 of a lot of them. So if you want to make several pairs of the same earring, you can often do that with that kind of mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So we're going to just start with a nice, simple glass mix, kind of feeling angel earring, right?
Yeah.
So I've got one. Why don't we do, I'll do a teardrop and you do a little one a little different this time, huh?
Yeah, there's some really fun ones. I think we both grabbed a gold swirl. I like those.
I do too.
So there's a couple of different sizes of bead caps, and the bead caps kind of encapsulate the beads and give it that angel look. So we've got a couple of larger ones and then a smaller one.
We're going to do 2 of each.
Grab those.
2 of the small and 2 of the big.
I often am expressive and my mic gets changed, so sorry about that.
Good. So in case you aren't hearing Patti right now, we're just kind of gathering our ingredients together just to show you how, really basic it is.
Sorry about that. live. We get technical issues all the time, and we have the great people that go ahead and fix them for us.
Keeps
so
us all on our
thank you,
toes.
Michael and Jess, for fixing that.
Yes.
So we've got out here a bead for the body. We've got a bicone for the head.
Oh, I forgot my bicone.
Yeah.
I believe.
That's an antique pink, I believe.
Oh, vintage rose. I was corrected.
Was it vintage rose?
I was
vintage rose.
vintage
okay.
rose.
They're pretty close. Vintage
Yes.
rose is a little bit lighter. And then we've got a couple of large bead caps, a small bead cap, and then this little cute copper rondelle that is the halo.
Oh, I forgot
So-
my halo.
And
Let
the
me get him out
wings,
here.
Right?
I got
And
my
the
wings.
And then we also need an ear wire. So now I've got all of the little elements here on my mat that I'm going to use to make my earrings.
So if I'm correct, that's 10 components.
It's about right.
Yeah, 10 things to make one beautiful angel. I'm excited.
I'm going to follow along with you, Chris, because
Yeah,
it's your video.
no,
I'm
it's
here for
fine
the
too.
ride.
And I am the beginner, and so me and Patti, we worked through a couple of these, but I didn't want to go too crazy. I wanted to be able to make a couple mistakes, because I'm still kind of new at this. Yeah. So we're going to put our first large bead cap so it scoops. We want it to kind of scoop, so it's going to be down. There's, other designs, you could flip that around. But we went with that because it kind of cups and kind of adds a nice finishing detail to our glass bead here. And then we'll take, another large bead cap, and then this one will go down so it cups the top, like that. Fantastic, you see that? And then I believe we're going with our lovely head. No, the wings. I always forget the wings.
Yeah, we don't
Wings
want
first.
a wingless angel.
We do not want a wingless angel. Just a humanoid earring. So nice.
Feathery one.
Yes, and then
And then on top of the wings, we've got that little bead cap face kind of up, so it cups the head.
that's right. Like that.
And then these beautiful bicones. Swarovski bicones make me happy. I love them.
I love how consistent they are
They
in the
are,
choice
they're
of colors. And then a last little bead cap on the top.
Oh, actually, there's
Did I
not
do
a
that?
bead cap on the top.
Oh,
There's
it's
a
the
little
halo.
rondelle. It's a halo.
So it's 9 ingredients, not 10. I always want to, that's right, I wanted to do that
That was
too.
pretty close, though.
It was.
And you know what? The thing about these is that you can just get into your creativity. If you wanted to do that way, you could
Right.
have done it that way.
Totally.
This is just the pattern that we're following for this one, but they're so flexible. In fact, in a little bit, we're going to talk about this angel builder that we have that shows you the amazing flexibility of all the different designs that you can get.
And I'm excited to get to that, but we're going to get to our second thing right now, which is Patti's simple loop hacks. So I'm going to tell you, and I think some of you are going to agree with me here, some of the problems that I had with starting simple loops. The first one was, and I got better as I go, but you're pretty much cutting at the beginning and trying to guesstimate how big your loop is going to be. And it's going to have to be centered, and it's going to have to be perfectly round and all of that. So you're kind of taking a guess right out of the gate with just cutting, and then sometimes you come up a little short, or sometimes you don't have enough to center it. And so that was like just one of my largest frustrations with the simple loop. And Patti's solution to that is really, really fantastic. So why don't we just get started? It's going to start like a regular simple loop, which is, after I lose my halo off of my angel, there she is.
You can't lose your halo. You're too nice.
But we're going to get all of our ingredients nice and kind of snug down on the head of our head pin there, and then we're going to just bend our pin at a 90, so it's like this.
Yeah, a 90-degree angle. So you've got this tail just going straight out to the side from the top of your angel. It's pretty much how I start a simple loop.
And then this is where the old way that I would do it is I would start cutting and guesstimating. But you have a really great solution for that. So let's get started.
Right. You know, when you're using head pins or wire, for that matter, eye pins, and you have this excess length of wire here that's longer than you're going to need for your simple loop, you have to kind of guess, like, how long is that going to be? And sometimes you cut it too short, and then you have to start all over, which is super annoying. Or you cut it too long, and then you have to trim it down. So I have a way to just alleviate that, and it's super simple. I just grab my round nose pliers, and at least 3/4 of an inch up the wire. So you've got to have, for this particular one to really work, you want, at least about 3/4 of an inch. You can go up to an inch but about that far up the wire. I'm going to figure out how big I want my loop to be. And the way that I figure out how big the loop is going to be is the position on the barrel of these round nose pliers. So that the diameter of the barrel, right where you have your head pin positioned, is going to be the size of the loop. So if I want a really big loop, I can go all the way down to the base and roll my loop from there, and I'll have a big loop. If I want a super tiny loop, I can go here to the tip. I want kind of about a third of the way up for this one is what I would suggest. So that's what I'm going to do. And Chris, you do whatever size loop you would like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about in that sweet spot.
Okay. And so then once I've got it positioned there, I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm just going to roll all the way until I can't roll anymore. And then I'm going to reposition my pliers so my wrist has room to roll again. And I'm going to let that tail surpass the circle and go all the way around. And so you're rolling up until you can't roll anymore, until your loop hits the piece, hits those beads there, and you just can't roll anymore, just like that.
And this is another thing that's a big solver too, is it really then you can really control how tight all of the components are on. It's not going to be too loose, because a lot of times I would finish my simple loop and I would have a little bit too much of a gap and all that. So I know a lot of you are kind of, feeling what I'm feeling, and I think we've been there. And so I like this nice snug down. I mean, look at this guy. He's great. He's nice and firm. So I just wanted to mention that.
It does solve that, and I do really like having my pieces nice and tight. I feel like it makes them more professional looking, keeps them together. So once I roll it all the way up, I'm going to keep it on my round nose plier here. I'm going to make sure it's pushed all the way down on the barrel as far as it can go, so it's nice and snug. And then I'm just going to use my fingernail, and if I had short nails, I could still do this. Okay, use my fingernail, and between the halo and the loop, I'm going to kind of clamp it with my fingernail, and then I'm going to bend it back up. And so you want the loop that you just made to be centered on top of the head pin. So imagine just the head pin here. You want it to end up looking kind of like a lollipop on a stick. You want the circle centered above the head pin. So that's pretty much what you want to end up with. Okay, and then you've got to cut this excess tail off. This gives you a nice, perfectly round loop this way. You don't end up with a teardrop shaped loop. I know that a lot of beginners, when they start, and a lot of you guys are real familiar with jewelry and you already know this, so this is for the beginners out there. If you're a beginner making a loop, a lot of times, and I'm just going to demonstrate real quick, not to get too far off subject, but I think this is important enough to show. A lot of beginners, they take their round nose pliers like a millimeter or so down the wire or the head pin or the eye pin, right? And then they roll. And when the wires hit each other, you end up with the teardrop shape. And that's actually not really ideal. You want a nice round loop at the top. It'll help keep things from getting hung up, because when you have a teardrop shape, you have this little valley, right? And when you're wearing your jewelry, sometimes something will get like hung up upside down or kinked, and it just kind of looks funny and you're constantly adjusting it. You know that feeling when you got like a shirt that's on too tight and you're always adjusting it and you hate that? Same thing with jewelry. So if you make a nice super round loop, that totally alleviates that issue.
Yeah, and even though you said this is only for beginners, I would also argue that this is kind of that 10%, 5% more kind of thing you can do to, for the really critical customer or a really critical judge. If you're just not getting into that contest, or you're just really not really having the sales come, all these little things, you're going to see that they're going to all hang completely straight down. Nothing's going to catch. I mean, wait till we get to the finishing part, which I really love. So It's
really nice. So now we have to cut the tail, right? You've got your nice round loop, and you've got to cut your tail off. And it's really, really hard to get into this valley sometimes with your nippers and get in there, even if you've got really nice fine ones, like I'm using these Tronics nippers. These are amazing. Getting in there can be hard, so there's a hack to that. You take your chain nose pliers, or a flat nose. You could do either.
And I have one of our affordable sets over here actually that I'm working with.
Yeah,
So-
the one that I have too.
Oh, perfect.
You know, my chain nose, my flat nose, I don't feel like need to be as expensive for long-term use. I do
Right.
like something like a Lindstrom or a Tronics because they hold up for years, right? But for just general use, when you're using your flat and your you know, your chain nose like this, a more mid-range plier is perfectly acceptable to use. And so I'm going to go ahead and clamp the loop sideways here with
And we
my
want the
plier.
tail on top, right?
You want the tail on the top.
Yeah, I got it.
So it'll be kind of coming out and around on top. And then I'm just going to kind of clamp all the beads together, and then I'm going to bend that whole loop away from the top of the angel here.
And look, I've got access to get with my nippers.
Right, so I'm going to take my nippers and I'm going to use this flush edge against the piece that I'm keeping. You can see with these flush cutters, there's a beveled edge kind of on the inside, and that this side will leave a sharp pointy edge to the wire, and there's this nice smooth side, and you want this always to be toward the piece that you're keeping. So I'm going to get in there with my nipper really close. And I'm going to put my thumb over the wire just to make sure it doesn't fly up into my eyes. That's really important when you're cutting wire.
Shh, you didn't see that.
That's all right. You're getting it.
I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned the safety tips before, though.
Yeah, totally. And then I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers. I'm going to clamp that loop, and I'm just going to bring it back into position.
Yeah.
And while I have it here, I can, you know, move it around a little bit and just make sure that it's completely centered.
And another trick you were talking about was to cut it a little short.
Well, okay,
versus
so if you're
stretching it out.
if you have the choice, right, if you're getting in there with your nippers and you feel like you can't get exact, it's better to cut a millimeter short than a millimeter too long. Because if you cut it short, and here's my little trick for getting a perfect connection with your simple loop, is I grab the tail of the simple loop with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm grabbing the very tail, and then I'm rocking it back and forth into place right against the body of the head pin. So we've got this really nice tight connection. So if you had cut it a millimeter short, you can totally correct it right there. You know, in jewelry design, when you're working so small, millimeters count. They really matter. They make a big difference to the end result. So if you'd cut it a millimeter too long, you might be able to rock it back and forth in place like that and fix it, but it's a little bit harder. So I always recommend either cut it flush right exactly where it needs to be or just slightly short. And use that rocking tip, just rock back and forth until you get that really tight connection, and nothing's getting off that loop then.
That's right. Hi, Bridget from Canada. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Monica. Monica says she loved the photography live. Thank you so much, Monica. I enjoyed doing it. I did a couple of how to take pictures of your jewelry using your cell phone videos that are up on our Facebook. Feel free to go check them out. Another thing we should mention too is our gallery of designs on our website, firemountaingems.com. We have tons of angel earrings inspirations, tons of just earrings in general, necklaces, bracelets, you name it. We have thousands and thousands of inspirational designs with the ingredients and all that stuff. So we're just kind of doing just a little bit of that today. So all we have to really do now is just slap on an ear wire, and I think our first earring is done, and we'll just keep trucking along.
I'll let you show them how the proper way to open the ear wire and put that on, because I know you know how.
I do, and you were just talking about it there too. It's almost the universal how to open a jump ring, right? We're never ever going to pull it open. We're just going to, you know, what is it? What would be the term there?
Open it to the side.
Open it to the side.
Yeah, open it to the side.
And this is where the angle
Just
nose.
enough.
This is where I like the angle nose and a flat nose, you know?
Yep.
Just like jump rings.
And now you can practice the rocking back and forth technique when you close it, because you do the same thing with an ear wire.
Man, we could talk about tempering a little bit too, because every time you move metal, you're heating it up, and as it cools, it's tempering and getting a little harder. So just by doing that rocking back and forth with jump rings and this kind of thing, by the time you finish, it'll be a harder seal of a closure, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point to make whenever you're opening and closing jump rings or ear wires, anything metal, right? When you bend metal at all, it work hardens the metal, which means it makes it stronger to a point. But the more that you do it, if you keep going, it actually will end up making it brittle, and then it'll break easier. So there's a sweet spot on that. You don't want to do it too much. You don't want to open and close your ear wire 20 times. It's not likely you're going to do that. But just so you know, if you do it too many times, eventually it's going to break.
So fantastic.
We made our earrings.
Through the glass. There we go.
That's great.
Nice.
I love
little
it.
Asymmetrical set. You could even wear those together just because the glass beads aren't the same.
Yeah.
I would think about that. Awesome. So hey, let's get into the Angel Builder real quick, right? And then I'll kind of take the second one.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
I
just want to do a shout out to Lisa from Oregon, local lady. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Lisa.
We're in Medford, Oregon. Hi, Francesca from New York and Rhonda from Portland. Thank you so much for joining us today. And then Rose is asking, what is that gray thing on your finger?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's so clear to see. I covered it up a little bit, but I'm a jewelry designer, right? So I was creating the demo pieces for next week's live video, and I was using an unfamiliar tool, a wood dapping set that I just haven't used in quite some time, and with a brass hammer, and I was hammering, doming an element for next week. And I hammered my hand.
Might have domed your finger a little bit there.
I really hammered it good. So I'm working on healing that up. Thanks, Rose, for pointing that out. I love you.
The hazards of jewelry making. I'm sure
great.
a few of you at home are, have similar stories. Feel free to share them right now, real quick too. Got a quick one?
Candy says, I just used the one-step looper tool. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy that. Everybody's got their preference on how they want to make loops. That one-step looper works really well for some people. Some people love to do it just manually with the rounds. There are different techniques. It's different strokes, right?
Yep.
So, Candy, thank you for mentioning that. Maybe someone out there will like to try that, and that will be their new thing. So that's really helpful.
So I'm moving forward right here, but I think this is good. So. What we're going to focus on next with our next set is we talked about, hey, we got a nice glass bead mix. Again, this is a really good, fun group activity. Get your ingredients, get a boss's bead bag, get it, and just kind of throw it out on a table. You're all around and just kind of making earrings for that Saturday market coming up and all that sort of thing. So this one caught my eye as well. So we sell these, and they are just already kind of the angels just broken out for pendants, for earrings, for a lot of things. So it's already all of our little components there, right? So I've already taken a blue version with the gold, and just, once you cut it apart, just thread it right onto a head pin, like I've done here. And look at that, we're already ready to kind of
already in business with that one. I'm going to let Chris take this one this time.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out that with these strands that you have, these pre-made strands, these are lovely. And it's so nice to have it all put together. It really doesn't take a lot of thought. You can just put this on a head pin and go. They're threaded on what feels like a really heavy-duty fishing line. And so I wouldn't leave it on the fishing line. I would always take it off of there. It's not really meant for permanence. It doesn't have the prettiest knots at the end. So they need to be restrung in some fashion. But, and it's kind of curly cued too, but it keeps them nice in order. So, these angels are a really popular gift. It's something that a lot of our customers and us here too like to give as gifts. There are so many times that there's someone that you come across in your life that does something special for you or does something, beautiful for someone else, and you want to give a thank you. A little angel pendant like I'm wearing here, or a pair of angel earrings, or maybe a Christmas ornament or something like that is a really, really nice way to say thank you. I know that just recently I was driving out towards Crater Lake, which is close to where we live, a couple hours away, and my car broke down. My engine went. And I was 2 hours from home, and a family stopped by and gave me a ride all the way home. And they were so my angels for the day. So, in that kind of instance, bringing a little gift like this is so nice. You could just keep these kind of on hand in a drawer. couple strands of these, and whenever you need them, you could just throw them together and have a really special little gift to give someone. So I just wanted to point that out because it's such a fun idea.
And a really nice transition too, because as you talk about the angels, I think it's time to start talking about our angel builder, earring builder that we have online, which was a brainchild of one of our owners, Chris. And the web team got it together, and they threw it all up on the website and got it ready for you guys, and we're going to kind of show you some of that now. But yeah, I mean, angels, it doesn't really matter, how religious you are or not. One, ground rule we can kind of establish is that there's angels everywhere, and even if you don't, so yeah, we know that they're everywhere. And so we thought, what a great way to celebrate it. And so that's what inspired the builder. Now, I don't necessarily know if it's up on screen quite yet, but I have a nice computer over here they've rolled over. Patti can see it as well. And we have our angel builder, I hope. You're good. Okay.
We're good to go.
And so we have preloaded some of the lower ones here, but we're going to show you what's so great about it. Let me back out real quick. As you can see, we have all of our little components, our halo, our head, neck, wings, waist, and body, okay? And so what you can do is you can come into each section and start picking. And what the best part is that you can load a bunch of these up as you go, right?
So Chris, what are you loading right now?
We're loading up some, I believe that right there is a rondelle.
Oh, and these are for the halo.
These are
so
for the
you're
halo.
loading up multiple pieces that can be used for the halo for your example that you're
Yes,
making.
thank you, Patti, for clarifying if I'm getting a little confusing there. So yeah, we're just going to pick out a bunch of halos, and we do have. I like the simple silver is really, really nice too. But yeah, so as you see, we've got a few of our halos loaded, and I've already taken the time and kind of gone through and loaded up some necks, wings, waists, and bodies. All right, so we're good there. And now what's so fun is we can kind of compare and contrast.
Well, I love that you have the flexibility to yourself go in and say, okay, I like this 4 or 5, I like this 4 or 5, load those up, and Fire Mountain hasn't done it for you. You've made those choices.
You have. And I like this because we were kind of riffing on this earlier about kind of taking like a monochromatic kind of approach, where if we went with this nice combo, I really like the ribbing on these beads here, these silver ones. They look really, really great with this. And then you could kind of just load up some pearls, and you could just have 3 different versions right there. And the best part is we have an add to cart right there. So once you have all of these lined up and the ones that you like, hit add to cart and continue, because we're gonna throw a few more combos around.
And now there's everything to make this earring. All of those elements, the halo, head, neck, body, and wings and waist, is all in your cart now.
All in your cart.
So all you really need to do is go choose some head pins and some ear wires or some
Good point.
chains, whatever, and you are good to go.
You are good to go. It's also worth mentioning that we also have a Christmas tree builder as well, and it's just as fun. And the Christmas trees are fun too, because the angels and the Christmas trees are just like so many different variations you can make, so many different product lines from Swarovski to Czech Press, all of that can really bring it all in, and so we love it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And I've already finished my guy here. I just have to do a quick little ear wire.
While you're opening the ear wire,
Yeah.
I'd love to answer a couple of questions that are coming up here.
Thank you.
So Karen, you made such a good point. Thank you for pointing that out. She's asking, when we were making this last angel earring, and we were showing how to rock back and forth with a simple loop, and then how to open the ear wire and close the ear wire, why didn't we just put the ear wire on while the simple loop was open before we rocked it closed? And she's right. If I were designing a piece, if I were at my desk and I was making this, putting it together, I would totally do that. I wouldn't open the ear wire. I would just, while the simple loop is open, throw it on there and then rock it back and forth and closed it. In this particular instance, the reason that we didn't do it that way is because I wanted to show how to properly open and close the ear wire. Because not everyone knows that. So, Karen, you're probably pretty advanced, and there are people out there watching that are fairly beginner level. And so I just want to make sure that everybody has proper technique. Even for something super simple like this, we want it to be good quality. Yep. And so that was the reason for that. But Karen, thank you for pointing that out. So you guys know, in the future, if you go to do that, you don't need to you don't need to open the ear wire in that instance, for sure not.
Good point, Karen. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And Marisol says that she loves our angel stories. Thank you, Marisol. We love sharing them with you. All right.
Thank you.
And this is fun. So, wow, I'm already feeling a lot, because I'm still the beginner here, you know, I'm like lightly intermediate. And after Patty's hacks with the simple loop and that sort of thing, I've already gotten 2 earrings going here. I'm feeling super confident. I'm really excited about the third one because it's got a little flourish.
It's very pretty, very pretty.
So let's move on to that.
All right.
We're going to let Patti kind of go on this one. It's so pretty.
Oh my gosh.
Artemis.
So the Artemis, I just want to show this Swarovski crystal to start. This is so beautiful. It's really an interesting kind of a cone-shaped bead. It's got really nice facet, really nice flash. And when you turn it upside down, there's a cup down here. So if you put a head pin in that, the head pin's going to be completely hidden.
Mm-hmm.
So you just see like the beautiful, this makes a great skirt for your angel. And as Chris was pointing out the other day, we were kind of looking through these. If you wanted to put a bead in here, like a pearl, it perfectly cups it. So they're just really versatile. These are really, really pretty crystals. And I had actually never used these before just the other day. So it was a cool thing for me to get to learn. So now you get to have that little knowledge about this piece.
You know, and I'll say a few things as a photographer here. We shoot a lot of Swarovski, and sometimes the simpler stuff, simpler shapes are not only harder to shoot, but also harder to be visually interesting. And the thing I love about this is that it is just, for being just a cone, they have made some really cool choices in the way that they do the facets. And the facets are actually asymmetrical. Actually, I don't even think there's a repeating facet around the thing. And if there was, it's not that very much. So those little things, I just love this shape. For as simple as it is, I just figured it was worth mentioning. And I like shooting them too. So
this one is interesting because we're going to use these really long head pins. So you can see that this head pin is probably like a 4-inch. You know, I don't have a measuring tape out, but that would be my guess on this one is like 4.5 inch, something like that. And the reason that we're going to use this long head pin is the end of it is going to end up being this little halo on top of the angel. So this is a really fun little extra twist on this earring that makes it special. And the angel with the Artemis, these are just kind of a little next level angel that you can make. So let's go ahead and grab all the elements that we're going to need for that. So there's one of these long head pins.
Long head pin.
An Artemis.
An Artemis.
Some of these great wings. We've got these really pretty white glittery wings.
With some silver glitter in there.
We've got a bicone. We're using the same bicone as the first one.
Vintage rose Swarovski bicone. Oh, Debbie says, I make angels to give away anytime I see someone who might need one. See, that's awesome, Debbie. So I hope, I mean, you're probably well ahead of us here. And if not, well, here's some more angels. And that's a really, really great idea. I might have to start doing that.
That's really
It's
cool.
those things. You know, it's been a little bit of a rough year, a little bit of a rough week, a little bit of a rough month, however you want to put it. And so what a great way just to share angels. Just remember the angels and the positivity. You know, and the more that we're like that, the more we kind of maybe become angels to each other in our own little ways. But.
Seriously, 2020 can use some angels. Everybody probably go make some.
Yes, everyone.
We need a little extra positivity this year, for sure. Melanie from North Carolina says, thank you for these videos. Melanie, we're so
Thank you, Melanie, for tuning in.
Grateful for the opportunity to bring them to you. It's really fun for us.
It is.
So getting to engage with our customers out there and helping spark your creativity is a really cool part of our job. And so thank you for joining us. We really love it. Thank you to all of you guys for being here.
All right. Look at that. I'm already partway through. I just need to throw a
so
halo
what are
on.
we doing? So we've got our long head pin. And then we're going to thread on the Artemis with the head pin going through the bottom, the larger side of the cone, making the skirt. And then what's next, Chris? We've got the wings.
Beautiful wings.
And what's after that?
We have our head for the bicone.
Oh, we've got this little neck. We've got our little...
we do the neck, not the halo, because we're making the halo.
Yeah, this is
sometimes
you would use this cute little gold rondelle. It's a pretty shiny gold rondelle. I like these little beaded ones. And we're using that for the neck rather than the halo, but you could use it for a halo on another one if you know
what? As I throw it on as the neck, it fits absolutely perfectly between the wings. It's almost as if each each vendor knew that they would go together that perfect, you know? I mean, it does. It really does. It fits
After that, I'm
right
going to
perfect.
thread on the bicone for the head, so I'll catch up with you.
Yep.
And then we're going to make the halo, so we're
Yes.
not threading on a halo.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
So are you ready? Okay. So this one's a little different. We're not doing a simple loop on this. We're doing a wire wrapped loop, which is just a little more complex, but you can totally do this.
I can do
If
this.
I can do this, you can do this.
Me too.
So I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers once I have all my beads on there. And I am going to use the tip of the chain nose pliers and put it right snug against the top bead. And you don't really want there to be any extra space. So once you've clamped it down, if there's a little extra like millimeter or two between the head and your pliers, just adjust it down so it's all snugged up. You only really want, we're gonna make a bend here in a minute for our wire wrapped loop. And that bend, we only wanted a couple millimeters, 2 or 3 millimeters at the most, away from the head. So the width of the tip of your chain nose pliers is just about the right amount. So I'm really pretty close to the end of the pliers. Just
I have a little bit, I mean, my chain nose does not go to as much of a point as I'd like.
It's okay.
He does okay, but I think
Yeah.
he's pretty snug.
Yeah, if your chain nose is a little bit bigger, no worries. You just end up with an extra wrap and it's going to be totally fine. So I'm going to get down there pretty close because I only want 2 or 3 wraps, ideally. If you get 4 wraps, it's still going to be pretty.
I did that yesterday.
It happens. Okay, so once I've got the tip clamped really tight against these beads, it's not going anywhere, there's no play. I'm just going to make a 90-degree bend by pushing the wire with my finger flat against the top of those chain nose pliers, just like that.
And am I supposed to stay clamped? Because I took my...
No, you can take it out.
Okay, good.
Yeah, once you get about, it doesn't have to be perfectly 90 degrees, but pretty close,
Yeah.
right? Mine's just a little bit short of that. And then I'm going to grab my round nose pliers, and we're going to make a wire wrapped loop, okay? So I'm going to put my pliers right at that bend, okay? And then again, like we did with the simple loop, we're going to determine how big of a loop we want by how far down the barrel of the round nose that we're going to clamp it. I'm going to clamp it a little further. This time I'm going to go like halfway. I'd like a little larger loop on mine, I think. And this is up to your creativity, how big of a loop you want. Totally
So
do
like
it the way
that?
you want to do it. Yeah, yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and with it kind of right against that juncture, I'm going to adjust mine. I went up a little bit too far. You can always adjust.
Karen also says, I love using the Artemis for angel earrings. They also make great Christmas trees, as we were talking
that would be
about with the
pretty.
Christmas tree builder. Yes, the Artemis is spot on for all of your holiday needs. Thank you, Swarovski, and thank you, Karen.
Totally. That would be really pretty. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Nicole. And Dottie is asking, what else can you make with angels? Oh, I love to make Christmas tree ornaments with angels. You can make sun catchers. You can make jewelry.
Mirror hangers in your car?
Yeah,
To
all
dangle?
kinds of different things.
Dream catchers?
Yeah, you know what? A great way to see some of our examples is to go to our gallery of design. So go to our website, and currently you click the Learn tab and then go to Gallery of Designs and just type in the word angel in the search bar there, and you'll get all the different angels that we've made over time. So you can see some great examples that way.
All right, let's move forward.
Okay, so we've got our round nose pliers clamped at that juncture of the bend. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to push the wire all the way around the barrel of these round nose pliers until it can't go anymore.
So I'm holding with my left, kind of get him like that, and then push it.
Yeah, hold the pliers. I usually hold them in my dominant hand at this point.
Oh, okay.
And then push, but you could do whatever is more comfortable for you. Okay, so once it goes all the way around and it can't move anymore, I'm gonna clamp my piece between my other hand, my fingers, take the barrel of the pliers out and put the top barrel out and put the bottom barrel in and bring it all the way down to where it can't slide on the plier
So
anymore.
I will switch to my dominant hand now.
Okay, whatever's more
And
comfortable.
yeah, so bottom jaw all the way down.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so we've got it all the way as far as it's going to go on the plier barrel. And then I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to just keep wrapping it around until it's past where it's making a loop. So your tail's kind of facing upward a little bit. And I'll show you what that looks like. Just like that.
Like that?
Let's see, Chris. You got it. You
Okie
got
dokie.
it. Okay, so you've got your loop, and at this point, it looks like a simple loop, right? This is kind of a simple loop. If you were to cut the tail off here, you would have a simple loop. We're not going to do that. We're going to make a wire wrapped loop, and the advantage of a wire wrapped loop is that your piece isn't going anywhere, that there's nothing to come open. It's secure, and unless for some reason you're really hard on it and the wire breaks, which would be hard to do, it's really secure and permanent.
Nice.
It's a kind of a permanent link.
But now you know how to make them yourself, so if they break, it's okay. You can always make them
Yeah,
more.
right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to clamp half of the loop. And I'm going to do that in a vertical line with my piece. So I want my pliers to kind of be an extension of the angel upwards. And I'm going to clamp the half of the loop that doesn't have the tail coming off of it. And the really important thing about this clamp is to get the tip of the plier right at the edge of the loop. You don't want it to extend past the loop because you're going to be wrapping right past the loop.
So
And you
like
don't want
that?
the pliers in the way. You got it, Chris.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. Let me look again
Yep,
real quick.
no problem.
Just want to make sure. Oh, you know what? Let's adjust that a little bit. I want you to look at mine.
Yes.
And you can see how I've got half of the loop clamped. And my pliers are kind of extending out down here, not quite extending out past the loop.
Oh, on the non-tail side?
On the non-tail side. That's really, really important.
And now am I clamping onto any of the bottom stem at all, or just
Nope.
just
Just,
there?
just half of the loop.
Got it. No, now I understand.
Okay, you've got it.
Thank you.
And you know what? It takes a little practice. Don't worry. No big deal. Nicole says FMG, Fire Mountain Gems, was my first site to go to when I started beading. And to this day, it's my top choice.
Awesome, Nicole. Thank
That's
you.
really nice, Nicole. Thank you so much. We really love, one of the great things about Fire Mountain is the longevity here.
Yep.
We're not going anywhere. We've been around for a long time and we'll be around for a long time. And we are so grateful for our returning customers that kind of get to be family with us.
So thank all of you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't forget to tell your friends to like and share who are similar, jewelers and beaders. For any of the new people that are coming on board, we do these once a week. So we're really excited to share more of them. So feel free to like and share if you think of anybody.
Yeah, when you hit
that
that
might
thumbs
enjoy
up,
this.
the algorithm changes and it gets the video out to more people that get to have this experience. So
Right.
your participation in that thumbs up is really important. Thank you for
So let's
doing that.
spread angels and crafting and beading and all of it. We love it.
Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point, and this is my preferred way, you could do it the other way. If your non-dominant hand is more talented than mine, my non-dominant hand, my left hand, is basically a dead fish. I can use it to clamp things.
I'm a guitar player, so I'm okay. I'm not too bad on the left hand.
I'm not, my left hand is kind of useless. So I use it to clamp things. So I am going to change the pliers to my non-dominant hand because I can get a nice firm grip with them, but I don't really have to do a lot of work with it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm keeping that half of the loop clamped really nice and tight for this wire wrapped loop.
And our tail's going to be on the bottom, or it doesn't matter? You just want to make sure.
It can be. It doesn't matter. It can be face up, face down. Not going to make any difference.
But you're going to want to obviously go the right way, though, right? Because if I were
Yeah.
to wrap the other way, I would open up my simple loop. Is all.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would have the tail on the side that's facing me, right? So I am looking at my pliers and I'm looking directly through the half of the loop that's not clamped right now. And that's kind of the orientation that I want it to be in when I start wrapping. And then the tail is on the top part of that right now for me.
For me, I'm on the bottom, which is okay. I'll
Okay.
just come up and over.
Right. So Chris is going to actually wrap the opposite way that I am. So first let me wrap.
Okay.
And then let's see you wrap so we can
I
see the
love it.
difference, right?
I love it.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another pair of pliers. You can use a round nose. You can use a chain nose. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to grab toward the end of the tail. And I'm going to clamp really hard with my non-dominant hand, my left, and I'm going to clamp really hard with my right and keep lots of tension on that tail wire. And then real slowly, I'm going to bring it around, and I'm wrapping as close to the loop as I can get it.
Sorry, I'm laughing at some comments. Nicole says, I love how Chris is learning with us, LOL. No, totally. Trust me, Nicole. Yes.
We all learn something new every day.
And I'm
all
having
of
so
us.
much fun. I really
would
am.
love to go into photography with Chris sometime. Maybe we can video that. I want to do that. So I'm wrapping as close and really with a lot of tension and tightness to this loop as I can get. So I made one revolution. I'm going to come in and make another revolution really nice and close to the last one until I can't wrap anymore without hitting the bead. So that was about 2 revolutions for me.
Nice. And Karen also says that she's been a customer for 10 years. Thank you so much, Karen. I like all the customer flexing going on in the comment section. We have a lot of long, dedicated
I love
customers.
that.
Thank you so much. We love you guys too. We really do.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of straighten my tail out here. And then, just like I did before with the simple loop, I'm going to grab, and you can see that my loop is not perfectly round at this point. It got a little wonky in the wrapping, and we're going to fix that in a minute. Don't worry about that. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, clamp the loop, and with the tail on top here, I'm going to bend it away from the piece so I can access right at the base of that tail with my nippers. I'm going to get my nippers in there super close, hold that wire so it doesn't fly up at me, and I'm going to nip that off. Then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to clamp the loop and bend it back into place. And at this point, you can really get that perfectly straight.
Ooh, we did it again, but it's okay.
And there's a couple more steps. I'm not quite done. There's more. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers. And since my loop got just a little bit wonky, if it didn't happen, if it's still perfectly round, you could skip this step. But since it's just a little off, I'm going to put the barrel of my plier in there. And I'm going to use pressure and just round it back out. And there, I'm really, really happy with my loop again. It went right the way that I wanted it to. And then to finish off my wrapped loop, where the tail is, even though I got super close to the piece, there's still about like 1 millimeter or 0.5 millimeter poking out. And I don't know, well, you probably don't wear a lot of earrings, Chris.
Oh, I don't go with the dangly kind,
danglies.
but...
I like big dangly earrings. So what really annoys me is when the tails from wire get caught in my hair or they touch my skin and they scratch me. So to avoid that happening, I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to tuck the tail in, and I'm going to kind of go around in a circular fashion with little light squeezes and just make sure that it's completely tucked in. And that's how you get a really professional looking wire wrapped loop.
What a great loop, but it's okay. This angel doesn't get a halo. It's okay if we cut it off.
Oh my gosh, Chris
Don't you
called
worry.
me on it.
It's okay.
In the practice, I did this too.
And that's okay. That's why I'm over here now going with my under wrap style, right? And so what I'll do is I'm going to do what Patti just did, but she went over and I'm going to go under. And so you talk me through it. So I'm going to do about 2 wraps fully around the stem and then leave the excess to make our
It's
halo.
going to be like 2 or 3, depending on how much space you have. You always want at least 1.5 or 2. 1.5 is a little on the light side for wraps.
So I'm pulling it nice and tight.
You always want at least 1.5, but preferably at least 2 loops when you're wire wrapping.
Same with changing the strings on a guitar. You only want 2 wraps on your posts, your tuner pegs. Okay, any more or less. So it's like that as well.
That's good to know.
Any guitar players out there? So it feels similar that way. So perfect. And so then I'm going to keep my excess. So what I have here, folks, is our nice finished loop. And I think I'm going to take Patti's tip again with getting my round nose. And I'm going to round out and center. I'm going to put it all the way snug to where it was and center it out, round it out a little bit. And now I have excess for my halo. So what I'll do, stop me if I'm wrong, Patti, is I'm going to go ahead and grip that kind of in the similar way I did before.
I would actually, when I grip my, and I'm back to where you are again with mine.
Nice.
I would actually clamp
Wait a
clamp
second.
in my
How
non-dominant
fast did you just
hand.
whip out that earring, Patty? You just whipped that earring out in like 16 seconds. I told you
Right.
she's good, people.
Well, I made a mistake the first time. I wasn't supposed to cut off that tail. I was so engrossed
You
in teaching
halo
you a
cutter.
wire wrap loop that I forgot. So, life, that happens.
It happens.
I'm at the point where I've finished my wraps and I've got it wrapped down as far as I want it. I'm going to, in my non-dominant hand, I'm going to clamp that loop sideways here.
So non-dominant hand.
So it makes an L. So I've got the pliers kind of facing out from my body and then the angel kind of going to the side. So we made an L.
Okay.
Then I'm going to I'm going to use my fingers. You don't have a lot of tail, so you might want to use pliers on yours.
Okay.
But I kept my tail pretty clean simply because we're going to use it to make a halo. So all I'm going to do is take the tip of the wire in my hand, and I'm going to very loosely pull it around. And I'm going to do it slowly, right? If you do it quickly, it's going to kink. So very slowly, I'm going to just pull it around in a circle, and I'm bending it so it makes a nice circle around the angel's body.
It's happening.
Until it comes around to where it started, and I'm going to keep going and making it more round. So you end up with this little
The haloing.
circle, and then if it's not a perfect circle, you can take your rounds and just massage it. Sorry, keeping it where you need to see it. A little bit until you get it to the shape that you want it. You want it to be pretty round. Okay?
Oh, I kind of went for more of a...
Good.
You know?
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Use your creativity. Do it however it feels really good to you. And so in the back here where the wires are meeting again, I'm just going to take my flush cutter and with the non-beveled edge toward the piece I'm keeping, I'm just going to nip the extra, little ½ inch of tail off.
And halo
And-
complete.
Almost.
Sorry.
You've still got a pokey end on your halo. So I'm going to take as just a little hack here so it doesn't get caught in your hair.
Oh.
I don't like things getting caught in my hair. I got a lot of it. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to grab the tip of that and I'm just going to bend it inward slightly. Just a little bit. So it's not so standing out and being pokey. So it's kind of overlapping that original wire. Do you see that, Chris?
Oh, and I was actually accidentally just doing that myself.
So I'm ending up with my halo kind of connected there, and it's not going to be sticking out. But then you have this really, really cute wire-wrapped
Man,
angel with a halo.
that's so fun.
I just love it.
And I love these ear wires. Not because you don't have to open them to use them, but just because they're so cool. They're so modern. They just have a little, so you just thread him on.
Yep.
You don't even have to open anything up. And yeah, that ear wire goes really, really nice with this earring.
Yeah, these are really fun.
It's so fun picking out ear.
I'll
It
put
is
mine
so funny how
backwards.
much ear wires, what do you guys think? I mean, how much ear wires can really define a piece or follow in the theme of a piece? And
The devil in the details, right?
Yeah.
So, I know it's funny, angels and devils, but
theme.
it's true that all the little tiny details in your jewelry, from using these cute little rondelles with the beads to the special ear wire to maybe a special clasp, really brings your jewelry next level.
Yes.
For sure.
And Christina, we love you too. I love watching the videos. She says, I get to know everyone at FMG. You are my bead family. Yes, and welcome. And we love being a part of your family as well, all of you guys out there and gals.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Rosita says, I'm enjoying my Fridays with FMG videos, learning new techniques. Rosita, I'm having so much fun. Like, I had so much fun with this project. I had so much fun today. I hope you all had fun. And we're going to remind you, lastly, that, we do these every week, okay? So tell any friends, family that, as the holidays are coming around, you're having a hard time thinking about gifts, you found some angels in your life and all that stuff. We're really, really excited about that, sharing that with you.
Yeah, if you want to get this out, a great way to do that is just to share it and make a little note. Hey, look everybody what I did today. And, that gets it out to your circle, which is kind of fun. Next week, I'm going to be back with a really fun Thanksgiving decor video. We're going to be doing some handcrafted napkin rings and
Nice.
wine charms that will
Nice.
be a really fun addition to your Thanksgiving holiday.
And one final reminder, Melissa is always really great with putting links down below of all of the kind of ingredients or some of the topics that we've talked about, that sort of thing. Again, feel free to engage with any sort of questions that you have. We usually go through and see if it's after, we're going to leave this up. You can come back and rewatch it. Got any other questions? And we're also really excited to hear in the comment section what kind of topics and what kind of projects and stuff we should keep doing next, huh?
Yeah, I would love it if you guys are making any of the angel earrings, post them
Yes,
to
we
our
wanna
website.
see 'em.
Please, one of our favorite things is when customers post the stuff that they make.
Yep.
And that just shows everybody like how creative we can be, especially if you're doing variations, because we want to see like what else can your imagination bring you from this earring? What can you do with it that's maybe different?
Oh, angels everywhere. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next week, Chris and Patti signing off.
Thank you guys. Have a
you.
good day.